U-boats were submarines used by Germany in World War II. These vessels were a key part of the Kriegsmarine, the German Navy. They were very important to Germany's war plans, often referred to as the wolfpacks due to their hunting tactics. U-boats aimed to stop ships from reaching Britain, targeting both military and merchant vessels. These ships carried vital supplies, including food, weapons and fuel. Without these supplies, Britain would be weakened, facing severe shortages and hardships. This was a serious threat to the Allied war effort, prompting extensive countermeasures. The U-boats operated in the vast Atlantic Ocean, often in coordinated groups. They were difficult to detect and deadly predators, using stealth and surprise to their advantage. U-boats were a significant danger to Allied shipping throughout the war, causing substantial losses and fear. U-boats often hunted in groups called wolfpacks. These groups were highly coordinated and operated with a level of precision that made them formidable opponents. This was a successful tactic used against Allied convoys, which were often unprepared for such organized assaults. A wolfpack would try to overwhelm a convoy with attacks from multiple directions, creating chaos and confusion among the convoy's defenders. This made it very hard for the escort ships to defend the convoy, as they had to spread their resources thin to cover all angles of attack. U-boats would often attack at night for the element of surprise, taking advantage of the cover of darkness to get close to their targets undetected. They would surface and use their deck guns to sink ships, adding another layer of threat to the already dangerous torpedo attacks. This tactic was very effective in the early years of the war, when the Allies had not yet developed effective countermeasures. It caused heavy losses to Allied shipping, severely disrupting supply lines and impacting the war effort. The Germans constantly improved their U-boats during the war. Early U-boats were slow, especially underwater. They relied on their ability to stay hidden. Later in the war, U-boats like the Type 7 became faster and could dive deeper. The Type 21, nicknamed Electroboot, was revolutionary. It could stay submerged for much longer. This made it harder to hunt. The Germans also developed acoustic torpedoes. These torpedoes homed in on the sound of a ship's engines. Section 4. Key engagements in the Atlantic. The Battle of the Atlantic was a long and crucial campaign spanning the entirety of World War II. It was a relentless struggle for control of the vital shipping lanes. It was fought between the German U-boats, which sought to cut off supplies to Britain, and the Allied naval forces, determined to keep those supply lines open. One of the most famous and dramatic battles was the sinking of the HMS Royal Oak, a significant event early in the war. In October 1939, the German submarine U-47, commanded by Günther Prien, penetrated the British naval base at Scapa Flow, a feat considered nearly impossible. It sank the Royal Oak while it was at anchor, resulting in the loss of over 800 lives and a significant blow to British morale. This daring raid shocked the Allies and demonstrated the reach and effectiveness of the German U-boat fleet. The Battle of the Atlantic raged for years, with both sides constantly adapting their strategies and technologies. Both sides suffered heavy losses, with countless ships and submarines sent to the ocean floor and many lives lost. The Allies eventually gained the upper hand thanks to their superior resources and industrial capacity. They used new technologies like radar and code-breaking, particularly the efforts at Bletchley Park to find and destroy U-boats, turning the tide in their favor. Section 5. A devastating legacy. The U-boats were a major threat to the Allied war effort. They sank thousands of ships. This caused huge losses of supplies and lives. The U-boat campaign came close to starving Britain into submission. However, the Allies eventually found ways to counter the U-boat threat. They used new technology and tactics. They also built more ships to replace their losses. The U-boat campaign ultimately failed to stop the Allied victory.